Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is Zillennial Talks with Teresa
and Kyla.
And if you guys were following us, episode 5, part 1 of this conversation has already been posted. And we're just continuing the conversation about insecurities.
Yes.
Let us know if you guys would like to in the comments anything that you guys have experienced as far as insecurities, or you guys can DM us for more privacy.
Yep.
So let's just continue the conversation, girl.
All right, sounds grand.
So my first question.
Sounds grand. I always say that grand. All right.
My first question is, have you ever been in a season where the friends around you, or the friends that you had at the time, or whatever it was, made you feel insecure? And was it something that it was they were perpetuating on you, or was it something to where your self-confidence was low at the time and you just felt insecure? Because those are two things to take into account. Things.
Yes, yeah. Correct. I have, and it was due to my low self-esteem most times. I have such a conscience when it comes to that.
That's great.
It's actually crazy because there are some people who will just try to make themselves seem bigger and better and look better. Yeah. But I personally haven't really had that experience with friends. Okay. I've had the experiences elsewhere.
Got you.
But not with friends specifically. And it was just due to my low self-esteem. And, I had to be so careful to not portray that or put that on them. Right. Because I knew it was something I was dealing with at the time, but I have experienced that before.
And I think most of us have. There's periods where you go through life where you just don't feel the best, so you're comparing yourself to everyone around you. Right. Go ahead.
Comparing yourself just steals all your joy, and it's so unhealthy. If you can work so hard to manage that, even if you even get a little peak of, you feel you, whether it's jealousy, envy, whatever, do not let that manifest.
Let that go. I want to sneeze, but my sneeze is not coming out.
Okay, I'm just saying, don't let that settle. Learn to just rebuke whatever that is and let go of that, because, like she said, it happens, but don't let that be your reality. Literally. Try your hardest not to let that be your reality.
Because the way that I see it, it's it will follow you forever if you don't grab a hold of the spirit of envy, insecurity, low self-esteem, and all of that. But to answer my own question, I've of course experienced that, and it was just going through school with girls and comparing myself to the girls that I went to school with, and it's I was gonna say it sounds bad, but I feel like people are gonna understand where I'm coming from. I think a lot of it when I was younger had to do with attention from guys, because I feel when you're young, I feel and I mean under the age of 22. I'm gonna say that.
Under the age, okay.
No offense to nobody that's in the early 20s to the late teens, but I feel that stage is just something else.
Yeah.
Male attention is where you kind of, not everyone, but at least myself, is where I place my validation somewhat, right? If a guy thought I was cute, if he chose me out of the friend group, back in the day when I used to go, party and stuff like that, if he chose me to dance with, things like that.
It made you feel good.
It made me feel good, but I always had a very beautiful group of friends. She's very beautiful. All my friends are very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Thank you. So being in an environment where your friends are pretty, it kind of creates an air of competition if you allow it.
If you allow it, because it's one of those situations where if I'm looking at you, I'm oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. It's just who else thinks she's beautiful? And it's
if a guy walks by, who's he looking at?
Who he choosing?
Right.
And it's I feel some people want it to be that way with their friend group, whereas if it's just something it just happens, you have a thought, but you again, you don't let that settle in, you don't let that manifest, because it's just it
can become messy.
It can be very messy, and then you start to resent your friend, and it's not even they did anything to you, you just
they're just existing, chilling. Yeah. And it's every time, who's gonna put out the cue? I remember literally being in the dorms thinking to myself oh, we gotta, I gotta make sure my outfit is bad. I gotta make sure this, because I know this person, I know she's gonna get chosen. I know she's gonna get 5, 6 numbers. Wow. It used to be to that point. Yeah. It's never that serious, guys. I was 18, 19, excuse my age, all right? Yeah. But still, it's never that.
But
serious.
that's real. Like, it's important we talk about that, because I feel like a lot of people they don't talk about it. They just hold it in, and they just kind of just like, oh, whatever, like, you know. But then again, it creates that negative energy, and then that's how friendships are broken and relationships are broken. And then half the time, you know, and I've actually had that happen. You know, I kind of made my own assumptions, but I actually did. Now that I think about it, I actually did have someone who kind of like, we were really, really close, very, very close, but like over a period of time, I started to notice that they kind of like resented me, pulled away, didn't really want to be close, and you know, there were certain, you know, things they would say that would kind of indicate like, oh, you feel some type of way. You know, and I would always be that person that would say, hey, is there something going on? Like, is there something you want to tell me? Like, how do you feel? Like, you know, am I making you feel uncomfortable in any way? Have I done something to you? Because I cherish our friendship. Right. And we're still friends to this day. It was just a phase. And I cherish our friendship, and it was like, it's nothing. It's, you know, no, it's nothing. I'm fine.
They're probably embarrassed to say, right?
Of course, because it's scary, because you don't know how that's going to end. You don't know how I would have taken that, and sometimes it's scary just to be honest and say, look, I felt this way. I feel like, you know, I just think you're just really pretty, and I just
you get a lot of attention
and get attention. You know, and it's hard for us as women to say that. But I did go through that phase and with them. And I mean, I still don't know to this day, which is okay. Like, I'm
you don't know what?
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, because they never specified.
No, they never specified it. But it's fine. Like, it's not. I understand now. Like, as I'm older, it's okay to create some distance if you feel some type of way about something. In a way, like, I feel like when you're too close to that person, that you kind of have that resentment, or oh, they're gonna get this type of attention. It's kind of best that you kind of distance yourself in a way, or figure that out.
What I will say is, like, I want to stress the fact that this is not always based off of physical appearance. Right. There's so many amazing people I've encountered that I've been kind of envious of their personalities. Their personalities that just absorb the entire room. They walk in, and everybody attracts to that person because of their personality. That can also be something. So don't just think it's a physical thing. But what I was gonna say was, I realized that was a self-esteem issue that I had. Right? It's I'm not blaming it on my friends. I have pretty friends. That's cool. But if you feel inferior because your friends are pretty, if you feel inferior because you're not getting male attention, which now that I think about it, I'm like, what the heck? But it was a thing, right?
It happens. Like, it happens. It happens.
It's a self-esteem issue that you have to work on.
Absolutely. And, you know, I feel like with where I'm at in my age, like, I've definitely had to work through some things. And sometimes you still are working through some things, because some things just happen and you're just like,
and it makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah, it definitely does. But I mean, it's a process, and what we're just saying is, you don't allow that to be like, you have to be conscious if it's you or if it's this person that's making you feel that way. Because a lot of people don't like
to be a combination of both.
Both, right? But a lot of people don't like to take accountability when it's them, because a lot of people don't like to sit with themselves and check themselves. There's a lot of times I have to sit with myself and check myself and be like, girl, you tripping. It's all in your head. Right. It's literally all in your head. You know this person will have your back. Right. You know this person it treats you well and having good intentions for you. But that's being self-aware. Exactly.
And I think a lot of people aren't self-aware, though. That's the problem.
I believe it too. And that's a big issue.
Yeah.
I said issue.
Yeah, issue. I got you.
Y'all, brain fog has been real all day.
It's early.
It's super early.
Very early.
But what did we say?
Being self-aware. A lot of people aren't self-aware.
Yes. I think it's a process, but a lot of people don't want to go through that process, because when you have to sit with yourself, there's a lot of things that you're going to find out about yourself that you are not going to like. And I think that's why a lot of people project, because they don't want to sit there. They don't want to look at themselves and say, dang, I'm the problem.
I think that both of us on this couch can attest to the fact that when you do start, not my throat.
You did not have to say.
The doctor was like,
not my throat.
He said.
Just cleared the throat and just said, you know, hey. He said, not my throat. It's
Guys,
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're getting there.
Because today it's already
super early. Yeah.
Okay. And that made me forget what I was gonna say.
You said we both can attest.
Oh,
that.
thank you. There we go. There we are. Both of us on this couch, we have done self-work. And I feel like self-work can answer a lot of, I feel like your prayers when it comes to self-insecurities. Because
Absolutely.
I remember the shift for me, right? Being in my late teens, like 18, 19, I was insecure about that whole thing about friends groups and like, not being, the most pretty or like the most chose. And I also have always had a very racially diverse friend group as well, which we've talked about, based on your preferences and things like that can also play into this whole thing of competition that I'm talking about. The moment that I started working on myself, my confidence started increasing. I'm telling you.
Amen. And same here. And even like prayer. I'm sorry. I know, Eric, some people are like, oh, this is just so cliche when people say pray. No, I'm so serious. I'm talking about pray, fast.
For your mindset.
For your own
everything.
Mindset. Literally. Because for your own peace, for your own joy. Because God, whatever God is saying to them, he may not be saying the same thing to you. So it's so important that you do that self-work. Because God has something to tell us each time. And if you are not feeling confident, I encourage you to pray about it. I encourage you to fast. I encourage you to read your word. Because God just builds back that confidence in you. Like, literally. And it's not cliche. It's a fact.
No, it's true.
It's a fact.
He'll start working on it because you're being very consistent. You're having conversations with God like, Lord, heal me from this. He'll change my way of thinking when I talk to myself, change the way that I speak to myself, God.
Every day.
Everything is very intentional. The biggest thing also, words. What you release out of your own mouth. There's been moments even this week where I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. I should not do that. It's happened though, right? And you say it multiple times. I got into a little fender bender or whatever earlier this week. This week was not my week. It was not.
Something.
I got into a little collision. And then after that, I was like, I'm so stupid. Like I was self-talking really bad to myself because I got the quote back and it was like,
right. It just vexed your spirit. It vexed
for a loop.
It vexed your spirit. Like
I said,
was it me that did it, or was it?
And I'm thinking to myself, like, Lord, this can't be. But you have to be gracious. Is basically.
Yes, you have to give yourself grace. The renewing of the mind daily, every hour, every second is so important. And I feel like sometimes whatever we put most of our attention in is what we kind of like serve. So if we're putting our attention into negative things, that's where your mind's going to be all the time.
Come on.
If you're watching things that are going to encourage you, that's going to uplift you, that's where your mindset's going to be, and that's how you're going to feel about yourself. I've had to learn this, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm not as intentional, because if you really want it, if you really want to, whatever it is that you are dealing with, if you really want to heal from that, if you really want to build that confidence, you're gonna work towards doing that. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, if it's your environment that's creating you and causing you to have these mindsets, you have to move away. Who cares what they say about you? Who cares, like, oh, you're different? There's gonna be people that are gonna come to you like, oh, you're different. You think you're better than me? I had never said that I was better than you.
Just isolating.
But people are going to see that, like you said. Some people are going to walk in and you just, their aura is going to be like, what is it?
What they got going on?
Them?
Yeah,
for
very
sure.
Much sure. Very much sure.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, very much true.
Very much true.
Look, today we doing it though.
True much.
Look, we doing it. We getting it done. So yeah, like if you want to grow and you want to heal, there's work that has to be done. No matter what it is, there's work that's always going to have to be done every day of your life. You're going to always be learning if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to accept, if you're willing to be accountable, if you're willing to grow, if you're willing to evolve. Like, it takes work. The work is going to have to be done. If you don't do the work,
You'll
expect
stay
to
stagnant.
see.
You're not
expect to see
You're
anything.
not going to change.
Exactly.
Your results are not going to change if you're doing the same thing. We've heard that quote many a times, and I feel like we touched on this a little bit earlier, but this insecurity can follow you through all the course of your entire life.
Yep.
Which can tie into the comparison thing that we talked about.
Yep.
And it's like, it will start with your physical features, and then it'll carry on to your career, and then it can carry on to how many kids your friends are having, and like your debate with the kids, like who has the biggest house, who has the nicest car,
and I see
who has the finest husband.
Girl, I've seen that personally.
Like, it's a damn shame.
It's crazy. It's
shame.
like competition. People are literally in competition. I have been around people
all their
who
lives
have things, and I'm like, do you realize how blessed you are? But then I've been around their friends or their family and heard them talk, and I'm like, oh, this is about who got more and who making more and who's doing this and who got. It's all about status.
Appearances and status.
It's all about status. And I'm like, how do you live like that?
I feel like it's a very depressing life to live if you do live like that.
Yeah.
If you get caught up in that. And I'm not going to say, I think as humans, there's a little bit of it in some places everywhere, you know?
Right.
But if you get caught up in that hamster wheel and it keeps going around and around and around, you're going to go crazy because you're never going to be satisfied with anything you have.
Never. And that's what's going on in the world today, too. We're never satisfied with anything that we have. We always want more. And I'm not saying sit and just be satisfied and settle.
Yeah.
No.
That part.
But how are you going to appreciate the next level in your life if you haven't even appreciated the level that you're in?
That's a word. That's a whole word.
That is a message.
It's a message. You have to take the time to sit in like the season that God placed you in.
You do.
And I think that when people try to precipitate, like is it precipitate? No, it's not precipitate. Precipitate is rain. You know what I'm trying to say?
Do you mean participate?
No, not participate.
Oh, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying when you speed up?
Yes.
It's a P word.
Yep.
You know what y'all know what we're talking about. When you try to...
We already warned y'all. Brain frog. Oh
my God. Not the frog.
Brain fog. Not be able to pronounce our words.
Mixing it back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
But the participation.
When people try to speed up things, okay, it's something with the P. Oh, come to me.
Yes.
All right. It never works out for them in the way that it should, because it's like you're forcing things and you're putting too much on your plate because you're seeing that this person is in this season in their life and I need to be like this person. No, you don't.
No.
Work on yourself.
Right.
Have tunnel vision.
Yep. Especially if you don't know how they got there. You don't even know how they got there and got what they have. Like, they may have to do some things to get where they are. And they probably are there, and you don't even know what they go through when they lay down at night in their bed. You don't know what's going on in their mind. You have no idea. So it's why it's so important that you don't compare yourself to others. If you have if we're talking about insecurities, if you have your insecurities, work through that. Find space for yourself to work through that. Be accountable. Because...
And I know that there's some people that are going to say there's things that, because we've gone through the process. There's things that you can change, and there's things that you can't change. But the things you can't change, find ways to be, like, happy. Like, accept the things you can't change. And embrace, that's the word. Embrace the things that you can change about yourself. If it's physical features, if it's, I don't know what it could be.
Whatever it is.
But just embrace it.
Yep.
Because that's where you're going to find peace. If you can't change it, embrace it and change what you can.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And don't, put all the burden on yourself either sometimes. Give yourself some grace. We don't give ourselves enough grace. And if you haven't seen my video, I think I said something about that.
She did. Guys, go on to the Instagram page and,
watch
check out her word.
Yes.
Check out her word about grace, because it's important to give yourself grace.
It is very important.
And I think that that's a remedy as well when you go through because everyone's insecure. There's no one that is about something, I'll say. There's no one that's not insecure about nothing. They're 100% no.
Just confident.
But there is a question.
Go ahead. Go, you go. I remember mine. Go ahead.
No, because it's veering off. So you go first.
What was it?
It's gonna veer us off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really should ask you because it's something me and you can ask behind. But have I ever made you feel
insecure?
Yeah.
No.
Not
one time. Okay. Actually, literally. Now I'm thinking about never. In fact, she's made me feel encouraged.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is a word. I receive it. Okay.
You weren't expecting me to say that.
I didn't know what you was gonna say, but
You made me feel very encouraged. Encouraged.
Yeah.
How about myself? Have I ever made you feel insecure?
No.
Amen.
Look, no, you have not.
That's the goal, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a very strong, beautiful woman. I'm a very strong, beautiful woman, and I feel like what society has tried to do in the past is make people believe that beautiful, strong women can't coexist in the same space, and there only can be one.
Right.
Not true. That's a lie of the enemy, actually.
That is a big lie. That's a big lie. We are proof.
Yeah.
Literally.
And there's a lot of women that are able to work together, work in the same spaces, be strong, have their own opinions, have their own voices, and work in the same environment, just be fine. So I feel like when you have good friendships that are able to encourage you, like I said that she does for me, she encourages me a lot. It's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. And it pushes you to be better.
It does, absolutely, 100%. What was your question?
I was gonna say, I saw this girl who asked this on her podcast, and I loved how she asked this to all of her guests. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say that you love yourself? Yeah, that's the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the most.
Ooh.
How much would you say that you love yourself? And if you're comfortable getting into a little bit of why your score is what it is. Ooh. And y'all that are watching this, y'all can answer this question too. Actually, that'll be a cute little thing. If y'all get to this point of the podcast episode, leave in the comments down below what your number is. Out of 1 through 10, what you love yourself, and if you're comfortable, why.
I want to say.
By the way, it's Franny on YouTube. If y'all watch her, that's who I got this idea from.
I want to say 6, 7.
Period. That's really high. That's really good.
And the thing is, because I know how far I have come, and I'm well aware of a lot of things, but there's also a lot of work that still needs to be done. But there always will be work that needs to be done. But I give myself a 6 and 7 because, again, I know where I come from and how I used to think about myself and where God has taken me. So there's still work that needs to be done. There's still things about myself that, I, again, need to work through. But if you asked me that a few years ago, it would have probably been lower.
That's real.
But I would say 6, 7. I'm learning a lot about myself, and I'm giving myself a lot of grace. I don't always get it right every day. I struggle still, but I do. I'm not gonna say lower because now I have. I give myself past a 5 too because now I have God more so in my life. So I'm gonna give that credit in there too as well. So I would say about a 6 or a 7.
That's really good. I don't want to steal your answer, but I feel like I'm around there as well.
Yeah, that's good.
And simply because, like Kay was saying, there is some work that needs to be done. And also, the biggest thing that I feel like I'm learning now is to believe in myself more.
Absolutely.
Girl, go ahead. I know it dropped in your spirit.
It did. Because that is a word.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Like, seriously. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. It is a word.
No, for real.
No, believe in yourself more.
Believe in yourself more because, trust me, when you do that, there's so much you can do. Like, so much.
Sky's the limit.
Like, your gym journey, your workout journey. Believe in yourself, and it's showing.
Right. And that part is like going for something, and so does she. I mean, is your videos down or are they back up?
Which ones?
On TikTok.
They're still there. They're
okay.
there. Yeah.
So we both had this conversation earlier this year, I think, maybe in January. We went to go eat, and we were talking about how it was really hard for us to initially post the content.
Oh yeah.
Post what we were doing online because there's the stigma. You're nervous. You don't want people to judge what you're doing. My thing with my body's out there, all right. And then her is words. It's really deep. It's like encouragement. It's her relationship with God. You're literally seeing her, the progression right there too. So it's very, very scary to post that. But we just did it.
And the crazy thing about that is the fact that I can look at your videos and didn't even know that you had that insecurity about yourself, like ever.
I did. It's
crazy. I can watch it and just be like, girl, what? And didn't even have a clue.
Yeah, and it's a testament, right? Because it's like you're encouraging somebody. The amount of messages that I've gotten from people that were encouraged by my journey it blesses me because I'm like, okay, I was obedient. Therefore, I was able to encourage. Same thing with you, right? You were obedient. Therefore, you were able to encourage not just those who are watching for me and vice versa. So that's how it works.
Obedience is a form of faith. It shows your faith. It shows that you believe. So continue though with your answer. You said 6, 7.
Yeah, so my biggest thing was, that I need to believe in myself. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like that's what's stopping me from like going above and beyond. Absolutely. When I tap into believing in myself fully, and also like having faith, being obedient with what God's telling me, the sky is the limit. Yes. I promise you.
Yeah, I promise. I do too.
Because it's not just about appearance, it's not just about health, but yes, better your health, better your appearance if you need to, like better your academics, your financial, all that good stuff. But the purpose that God has for us is like the ultimate goal, right? So however the Lord wants to use you. There was a clip that I think I sent you that I love, Know For Sure podcast with Megan Ashley and B. Simone. And Megan is always preaching on that podcast. And she was basically saying that the Lord can use you in any form of like where you are as a ministry. Whether you're a teacher, you know, whether you're a janitor, whether you are, the person that drops off the mail. However you do, whatever you do is a representative of God. And it should be able to show through you.
And that's so true. Like, that's why it's so important that's why we don't have the right to judge. No. Because we don't know who God will use. And we can never look down upon anyone. Because we don't even know where we'll be tomorrow or the next day. Literally. So, but I loved your answer. I love that. I love that.
That's the main thing. And that's really the main thing. But I've learned to love myself, give myself more grace, understand that I'm not perfect, stop comparing myself. And when I started doing those things and like focusing really more on myself, then I started to love myself more. So
absolutely. And then also take away the things that you feel like are affecting you. Like for me, I feel like social media, if y'all don't know me, I take social media breaks all the time. Like all the time.
Yeah, she is. She'll be off and then back on.
Where you at?
Yeah,
look, I'm going.
But that's okay though. Yeah, that's good because you gotta do what you got. I do that for myself too, like during the week. TikTok no, but like Instagram, TikTok's I'll shut it down
a little bit.
I'll shut down Instagram during the week just so that I'm not so focused on looking at the latest trends and what everyone's posting and what everyone's doing, and I don't got the time to do that during the week.
It's just programming your mind to just settle for that and just look. A lot of us waste time. Don't waste your time,
girl. Seriously. And do you get the weekly reports? My on your iPhone, it'll tell you like the weekly reports.
Girl,
of like,
no.
I get weekly reports on how, like, the apps that I was using the longest, screen time.
Oh, screen time. Okay, yes.
All that. Yes. And I'm like,
like, man, I wasted my time.
That much time on my phone? Wow.
Yes. Y'all, I will encourage y'all too. I don't know, we can kind of like end it off here as well. Like, one person I could say that's kind of like helped me, of course, prayer. But lately I've been watching Miles Monroe.
Do you know Miles Monroe? I love him.
That man, y'all.
He's one of my favorite, rest his soul,
straight
OG.
Okay. Yes.
Literally.
I would encourage y'all to watch Miles Monroe.
Yes.
He's such an educated, smart,
very intellectual.
I mean, literally all his life, he was young, he said that he reads, he barely watched TV, he wrote like 3 books every year.
You could tell.
He's so into his word and relationship with God. He was just so in tune, and he felt like he fulfilled his purpose here on earth. So even when he died, he even said, he's like, I already fulfilled my purpose. I already know. I did everything I was supposed to do. Watch Miles Monroe.
So good.
Yes.
He keeps it to you plain. For those of you guys that just want to like watch any sermons that are like really clear that you can understand, the way that he speaks is very intellectual. It's kind of like a teacher. And so he is able to really teach the word in a very clear manner so that you be able to get it.
Yeah. And he's helped me a lot, and he teaches you like how to be a woman and what the role of a woman is and what role of a man is. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why we are going through what we're going through today, is because we are not keeping the roles, the commands, the laws that we have been given. It's not something that we can choose. No, it's something that was given to us, and so it's necessary that we meet that. But I mean, that's really
Miles Monroe, guys.
Yes.
So if you guys reached once again, oh my gosh, I can't speak today.
It's okay.
If you got to this point of the podcast, please in the comments once again let us know your self-love scale from 1 through 10. We want to know like how much do you love yourself, and then also.
Let us know also if you check out one of Miles Monroe's videos. And which one you checked out and how it made you feel and what it did for you. Yeah. And also let us know what impacted you as you watched this episode here with Teresa and I.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for tuning in to our podcast. We are so grateful to have you all. Be sure to check us out on all our social media platforms, and we'll be back soon for another episode.
Bye. Guys.